Hey everyone, this is Louis7, and I am streaming The Lord of the Rings online, so I will be checking out the beta for update 24 again. So I previously did a stream about a week ago, I would say, because that's probably when it was last, Bullroarer was last up, so this is build number 2. But in the last one, I spent just a while checking out everything, and I kind of went through this zone, but I didn't take a thorough look at it, and kind of from my first impressions, I wasn't really liking it too much, so I'm going to be taking a look at the zone again. But also the virtue system was updated as well. They have some new patch notes on that, so I'll also be taking a look at that. And then finally, I do want to talk a bit about the 64-bit client as well. And I'll probably start on the 64-bit client because you can see I took 3 screenshots here. And then 3 more. That was actually for the thumbnail, but I took 3 screenshots earlier from the 32-bit client and then the 64-bit client of my FPS. And I had about 40 FPS in the same area on the 32-bit client. And I'm on the 64-bit client now. It kind of dropped down when I ran through the bushes, but it's definitely higher than the 32-bit client and kind of significantly higher. So that is good to see. What I was kind of seeing last time of the increased FPS is actually at least partially due to the 64-bit client. And it was right here I was also standing. I was dropping down to like 30 and 40 pretty frequently. Right now it's not as good as it was, but it's definitely better than that and more consistently higher. I was getting around 60 FPS before I started recording, so it's probably because I'm recording with OBS, and OBS does not want to record the beta client for LOTRO for some reason. So I have to like capture the whole monitor, and it probably performs less with that. So yeah, my FPS was higher before recording this, and it always drops down a little bit, but just so y'all know a little bit what's going on with that. Okay, so now we can move on a little bit. Do you want to say hello to Alexley? I think that's how you say that. So checking out this zone, one thing I kind of thought last time was it was very narrow and cluttered. I think it was just very cluttered was my main takeaway from the zone. And there's just so much stuff going on. All these bushes, they're just really annoying and get in the way, kind of. Even if I turn off frills, I think all the bushes will still be there. So I can even turn, frills all the way off, and all the bushes will still be there, and it'll still look cluttered. Not as cluttered, actually. And I already have my fill density pretty low. For this zone, I'd probably have it at like 10 or something. But yeah, I don't think I actually ever went here, so I want to just kind of take a more thorough look at this zone. But I think first I can go ahead and go over the virtue system. So I need to try and pull up the patch notes real quick. I should have actually already done that, but it should just take me a moment. You all can look at the virtue panel here and kind of see what it looks like. It looks like it looks the same as last time. So let's see, we have, build number 2. This should, that works. Browsing as a guest, okay. Well, this is just loading, but this has the actual patch notes. And they did do some more changes to the burglar, actually. I guess some balancing with whatever they changed with them in the previous update, and that update is live with the burglar, so that's not like all in beta. But here we have the passive bonuses from virtues are a placeholder, so I'll actually have to get to that because we didn't even have that in the last build. But as far as the virtue system, you get the virtue XP and you select the virtue that will benefit from your deed completions. So it's still only deed completions, it sounds like. I really hope they would open that up to more than just deed completions to be able to get these virtues, but we'll see with that. And then they have the redesign. They had the redesign last time and you were able to select, but they just have a lot more info on how you do that last time, but we already discovered how to do all that. And then your existing virtues will version into the new virtue system. That would be expected. So all the virtues now offer an additional passive bonus. We didn't actually have this additional passive bonus last time, so I am curious to see what that is, but as we see, it is a placeholder, whatever values they have. So you can get the benefits from whatever virtue ranks you have, even when they're not slotted is the way that would work. And then they also have virtues have been rebalance, so we'll see with the rebalance if there's still any placeholders or how those are working. And then new Virtue Wit, I don't know what the stats are, if there's still a placeholder on that. And then it looks like any deeds that awarded specific Virtue ranks now just give Virtue XP, and the XP will be directed to whichever one you have selected to earn. And if you do not have one, it will be funneled into your first active Virtue. So if you don't have one selected, you'll still get rewards from it. Or if it's even a maximum, at the cap, it'll go out and go to the next one, which is nice. And then they also have the Isengard Tavern. They have somebody to give Virtue rank ups. Don't know if we'll go there. Maybe towards the end we could do that. But yeah, that's what's in the Virtue system right now. It looks like the passive bonus is like plus 15 morale from loyalty. Very small bonus, but I guess something just nice to have. Wit looks like a very offensive stat. They don't really have anything like that very offensive Virtue. These ones, okay, so this has Will, Tactical Mastery, and Finesse. That's quite a bit changed. It looks like they have a lot more, as I said, updated stats. I don't know like evade rating or if a maximum power, why you would want that still, but they do have a lot updated, so you can actually go with some offensive Virtues, it looks like now. We have stuff like Determination with Agility and a lot of Physical Mastery and Critical Rating. Enough to actually be worth equipping now for the DPS. It used to be everything you'd want defenses, and maybe you still want that, but yeah, and the values seem a lot better than last time. They don't seem as placeholdery as the first build, so it looks like they are making progress on this, and should be exciting once it actually goes live. So yeah, it's also really nice that you can just select the one you want, so I could like, if I wanted to build my Tactical Mastery more on this character, I could select Wisdom or something like that. I hear a really weird noise. I assume it's a warg. That was just really weird. It was like panting like a dog kinda, so I assume it was a warg. I don't know if y'all could hear that. But anyway, we can get back to the Virtue panel here. And then yeah, you get the Mastery passive bonuses, like passive morale, and it's kind of nice with the passive bonuses. You have so many Virtues that all the passive bonus will actually add up a little bit. So like Fidelity alone is only 10 maximum morale, but if you factor in everything, it's not that much with this many numbers, as big as my numbers are right now at like 75k morale, but it is a little bit. And maybe at higher rank, like we see Charity has a higher passive bonus. So it could be like maybe 1,000 morale if you have maxed or something. Looking at all these, it looks like they give morale, and a lot of them give morale. And then some of them give physical and tactical mastery. So yeah, I kind of like the idea of the passive bonuses and how small they are, but they can add up. It does seem like something that will be a bit grindy because of that, because you can just maximize your character a little bit more, but I hope they don't like do any sort of gating with content. With that, it seems like there's already enough of that with the legendary item. I don't know how this would even get close to overtaking that. But yeah, that's the Virtue system, and they have it a lot clearer now which one you're earning. They don't have that green background before. They had the green earning, but they don't have the green background, so yeah, that's nicer as well. Looks like it's just a lot more fleshed out, the Virtue Revamp, and I think they just started it in the first build, so we should see this even more fleshed out in the future, especially by the time it goes live, but it seems pretty thoroughly done now besides the placeholders. And I believe they said the passive bonuses were placeholders, so I just went a lot talking about how they're kind of nice like this. I hope they don't change too much from this placeholder value. They could also do something with like percent boosts. I don't really know how that could work well, but you get like plus 0.1% morale, so it's not like overpowered. Like if you got 1% morale for Charity as the passive bonus, that would be quite a bit. So they could go with like very small percents, so it's not just like a flat value, and maybe scales better with your character and gear. That could be a possibility of what they could do with that. But yeah, I think at this point I kind of want to explore this zone a little bit more. I still won't do the questing, because I'm just not interested in doing questing in any sort of beta. And I would like to kind of see the questing for the first time on live when I actually go through it, so hopefully I enjoy it with that, but I do want to explore the zone as I keep mentioning, because the first time I thought it was really cluttered, as I mentioned, So I'm kind of gonna go through it again and see the spots that I was kind of looking at and see if it still feels really cluttered going through. This area kind of seems more wide open. There's still some annoying bushes, and oh, those roots would be really annoying. But yeah, this path is just very narrow, so that might be why it seems so cluttered as well. I was also thinking this area was quite cluttered. Just all the rocks. It just has to do with the landscape. I don't know if they could have done something different to make it still feel natural, but a lot of the rocks seem to get in the way up there as well. So this is Gladden Fields. I didn't really spend too long in the swamp area. It's pretty big actually and kind of wide open. It has all these annoying bushes again. I seem to find all the bushes in this game annoying. I don't know if it's like trying to think other games where I play where bushes and things like this don't really annoy me as much. But for some reason in LOTRO, all the like really tall grasses and the bushes just annoy me. So it could just be a me thing with that. And other people might not feel that way, but it's just kind of how I feel. But yeah, I'm getting good FPS for this area. Normally an area like this, I'd expect to drop down really low FPS, and actually the similar area in the Shire is really bad for me for some reason. So if I open the map and go to Rushock Bog there, I might actually do that because I want to test out the 64-bit client with that. I would have really low FPS before, so and it's just kind of similar to this area with the fog and the density of the tall grasses. But that's nice to see at least. So yeah, I could see this actually being a decent place to have some quests. Kind of reminding me of an area that would have whites. I think Lone Lands maybe has a similar area. I don't know if that's the right zone, but yeah, this part isn't too bad. I know I said the long grasses annoy me, but they're actually not annoying me. Just spending a couple more minutes here, I think just getting used to it. At least for this part, it's not as annoying. Also, the mobs can hide behind them, and them. It's just kind of annoying not actually being able to see mobs sometimes. Oh yeah, we also have deeds for this zone. So this one's just explore. I assume they have the typical deeds. So the goal marks, we weren't actually able to talk to the trader last time. I can try and do that. I haven't actually looked for him this time. So there is a trader on the map that wasn't actually there. So I'm curious if we can talk to them now. So we know their goal marks will be trading in. But I want to see that has 1000 virtue experience. We can actually see that. Okay, does this say how much XP away it is? That would be kind of nice. I think that's the big thing that was missing last time is you didn't see how much XP you got from the deeds, and you also didn't see how much XP you needed to level something. So for all I know, this 1000 virtue experience could level this like 5 times, or just move it up like barely to where my mouse is. I assume it would be about one level, 1000 virtue XP sounds about right, but I'm not sure if that will be the case. Ideally to me, we're kind of taking a break from the zone I guess, but ideally to me, the early virtue levels would not take too much XP, then the high levels would take a lot more XP, kind of like regular character XP. So you can really quickly get the old ones if you are high level doing high level virtues. My volume is way high up there. But yeah, if you're high level and have like really low level virtues, like a lot of my characters, you could easily rank them up that way if they did it that way. So I'd like to see something like that out of it. Okay, so this bog is not too bad. I know I was worried about that last time just because I typically don't like these places, but this one doesn't seem all that bad. So hopefully the questing does well in it. I don't remember this part being too bad. It was just really narrow. Once again, this is just a narrow zone. It makes sense that it's narrow based on where it is. And there's just like no room for anything else. I guess I can kill all these guys. Looks like they might need to update the model for this NPC, this mob. For some reason it just looks like really outdated and blurry, their avatar. But what was I just going on about? Yeah, the zone is just very narrow, but it makes sense that it's narrow. I just don't know, when I look at the map like this, I'd expect it to be a lot more flat and open. But when you actually zoom in, there are a ton of trees on the east of the river, and there's like, based on this map, a pretty open area without as many trees. Like, definitely not as dense as either of the Mirkwoods. And then you also do have the mountains coming up just west of the river, which we do have, so that makes sense as well. So it kind of makes sense that it's rockier, but it shows it getting flat pretty close to the river, like I would say by here getting flat and the mountains being more off to the west. So the scale of it, just taking in this map, the zoomed out map, I don't know if this one would be more accurate or this map is actually less accurate, the zoomed out one. But based on that, the zoomed in one, it's just, it doesn't seem to really fit in with what this looks like. And if I try and compare maybe to the other zones, let's try this one. This one seems to match actually. So if I go like down here, it's pretty flat and not as many trees in kind of the Dalelands area. But in Fellogoth, that area where you actually have all the trees, it's actually like that when you zoom in. And it's kind of the same with Iron Hills. You see that extending with the Dalelands. Although the Dalelands on this map is a lot wider once again than the Iron Hills. So it could just be an issue with scale if this map is stretched out or something. But if we go to like Eriador, I'd kind of expect if we have a zone a little bit like Northern Breefields, I'd expect it to look like this. Based on the map, it kind of looks like that, I believe. And that's more of what I would expect here. That's why I did not expect anything like this, so kind of getting at finally solving the problem of why it seems so weird. It just doesn't really fit in with what the bigger map shows. And it's kind of the same thing with, it's like basically the same as Parth Celebrant here. I'd expect it to look more like this just based on the zoomed out map. Again, like that, or even not quite Wildermore, but almost a little bit like Rohan here. Not necessarily the exact same, because you can have a lot of differences within, and it's just kind of, you lose some details on the zoomed out map, but it just doesn't match that well, I guess, is what I'm getting at. But if we focus on what the zone is and kind of ignoring that, it's still very narrow and cluttered feeling, I guess. But I do want to explore more up north. This area, it's kind of hard to get back. Maybe I'm not going the best way in there. Ramps up, but it's taking me a while to swim back at least. Feels like a pretty big river though. Like it should be a big river, especially if we go out again. That's to be expected, but based on the map, it does not look like that big of a river to me. But it actually, like, it spans quite a bit, and I am going down right now in kind of a wider area of it. But anyway, this is going to take a while to swim. I wonder if it'd be best kind of what the strategy is. I assume you want to rank up whichever one you want to get the most. So if I want like defensive stats or vitality or morale or might for some weird reason, I'd just select that one. I assume there's also a level cap based on your level. So they have 60 levels right now. It would be really weird if a level 7 could get all 60 levels, but it might just not be possible. You might not be able to get enough Virtue XP, but that is something I'd be a little bit worried about. Or maybe if the low-level deeds gave such little Virtue experience and the low-level ranks required the little experience, once you get like maybe level 30, and you're like level 50. So if your character is level 50, I mean, and your virtue, like charity right here, is level 30, you just want to be able to rank it up much versus, say, fortitude, which you can rank up more because it's only level 5. Hey, Oive. But yeah, this, I don't know what quest they would have. I don't mind the traveling areas being narrow. This is definitely not a problem if you're just like traveling along here, and that's what it looks like. There are no mobs, so this area is definitely not a problem. We have this little stretch where there are no mobs that is actually pretty nice, and it's kind of scenic too, the way they have it. It's just when you start adding too much and make it too cluttered with too much else going on, like they just randomly have a mob here. Start getting some more mobs and it feels a little bit less like that, less scenic and more annoying and cluttered. So yeah, this is one of the towns. We explored this last time, this area. I really like the houses they have and the structures they have here. But we can move on. Yeah, I really hope they do reduce the grind with the virtue system. I think a lot of things need the grind to be reduced. One of the big ones, the legendary item system and the essence system as well. Okay, so this is another little river, I guess. So from up here, looks a little bit more forested. We haven't actually gone down there, I don't think. Rosgobel? That's what we'll call it. It very unfortunately makes sense that insects would be here. Fortunately, they only threaten to attack and don't attack though, because that could be annoying. Like, it makes sense that you would have mobs in these areas, but it's nice that they don't just go up and attack you. This is a nice little creek. Or river, I'm not sure. Try and navigate through these trees. Okay, so what do we have up here? Just forest. I expect this to be like northern Mirkwood, this little area, just navigating around trees. And it's again something that makes sense that it would be like this. It wouldn't even be too bad for questing if it was just like this area, but there's a lot of that. That's kind of what northern Mirkwood was. The whole thing was like this, and it was kind of annoying to me. I don't know. Trying to think of other really forested zones. I'd have to go back to actual Mirkwood, South Mirkwood, I guess, to see what that was like, but that's like in the dense forest area, and it didn't feel like that to me. It didn't just feel like all these trees everywhere. Which maybe that one, the original Mirkwood, was a little bit less accurate because of that, but I don't remember it being nearly as annoying because of that, though, to actually play through. Just like a huge massive tree, and then these little tiny ones as well. And again, it's like neat looking, it's not necessarily bad looking. It can just get, I'm guessing, really annoying questing through this. There's kind of a broken structure area here. It's interesting. But there are not like that many mobs here to really annoy me, so it's not too bad to run around in, like northern Mirkwood would have been. So the main difference I am noticing between the 64 and 32-bit client is a pretty big FPS increase. Like, surprising. I did not expect all that much. This is... okay, I did not expect this area to be here. I don't know, I just didn't expect much to be here in this area, and it's a nice little area. But yeah, I had about... so I was just... before I started recording and streaming, I was in this area near Holtvis, and I had about 30 to 40 FPS on the 32-bit client, and it jumped to pretty steady 60 FPS, which I have it capped at 60. It goes up to 62 sometimes because of VSync, but it's about 60 to 62, and it's pretty smooth. But yeah, the huge FPS increase was surprising because I did not really expect that much, and it was really nice. And I'm also not crashing on, should still be on DirectX 11. Yeah, on DX11 I crash on the 32-bit client, and I do not. I have not, at least on the 64-bit client so far. And right now my FPS, like right now it's a steady 62, but because I am streaming with OBS, it'll drop my FPS quite a bit compared to if I was just playing, so that's like even better performance than you all might see on this. Yeah, it definitely feels smoother. Like even here, I would expect to get a lot more FPS drops in. Also, the settings I'm playing on is like, it's like I think high with some things modified to be higher. I turned some things up from the base of high. I also have frill density really low, but that's just because I don't like frills that much. I guess this place goes even more east. Why not explore the rest of it? The new Virtues ruined Araya of the Valor. I feel like Araya of the Valor should... Yeah, they should fix that before this update is actually released, but yeah, that should still work once they actually update it. I think the best way for them to do that would just be give each virtue individually so much XP to get about the same amount of levels out of them. All these trees, they're just super annoying mobs. The release for this, I'm not sure. I would expect early June. So this is the second beta build, and they've gone with some of the updates, I think like 4 at least. It puts everything into resistance. Yeah, that's kind of weird, but I would expect them to update that eventually, either in another beta build, or at least by the time it goes live they should update it, I would hope. Lights upon the Anduin. Oh, so we got a quest. I don't plan to quest because I want to save that. So there's a big waterfall and then it just kind of goes down. Yeah, kind of like the way this was made. It makes sense with the trees and going down. Okay, so I am finding some nice things about the zone after finding some less nice things and kind of remembering less nice things. So it still feels cluttered to me, but I think just spending a little bit more time in here, it doesn't feel as bad. So probably once questing, it'll be decent as long as the quests are okay. The zone won't be bothering me too much. This is kind of weird the way it just doesn't end. I don't know if I've seen anything quite like that in LOTRO where it's just like nothing there. There's usually some sort of something in the background. I guess it's just really faded the trees in the back. But we can go around. I kind of wanted to see what that bigger lake area looked like. This is a very bad place for the War Steed. I also think the War Steed in general makes some of these zones less enjoyable. Like, I could always just not get on the War Steed, but because I have it, I want to go faster. So if I didn't have it at all, it wouldn't be a problem. Yeah, kind of like this. The lake itself just feels a lot more open because, well, it's just water. Okay, so I think at this point, I can go ahead and navigate through all this stuff again. I was going to say I could use my map home and just swift travel right back here. I think I can actually travel because I have like mithril coins. I could do the Stable Master map. I haven't actually looked at the zone on the Stable Master map. Let's see what it looks like. It is... Wow. It looks huge on this. This looks way out of scale to me. Like, Aaron Mithrin... Hold up. For some reason, I always thought Aaron Mithrin was a much larger zone. This just looks giant on this Stable Masters map. Looks bigger than East Rohan even, and like most of Gondor. Okay, well that's really weird, but I wonder if it's just the way, and even this map, it just makes it look like it would actually be different, more barren and less cluttered. But yeah, we can go ahead and travel here. It's just really weird. It probably captures some of the mountains and like this whole outside area connecting everywhere, like all the way through here, but still it just looked, how do I get back to that? It just looks a lot bigger than the zone actually feels like it is. Okay. So I wanted to check if they had the vendors yet to spend our coins at, because I just want to see what the rewards are. I don't know if they do. But if they don't, that's something I'll at least be interested when this update goes live. Nope. That's just something I always want to see, what type of, basically what you can get from the zone with your barter and everything. Okay, so I think next I have to go back up north. I can kind of see what this connection to Middle Mirkwood looks like, maybe. I haven't actually checked out, I forgot about this middle thing. I need to check that out, see what it looks like. Can definitely get on my war state, go a little bit faster here. Well, it does not connect like the map makes it look like. The map kinda, I guess it still is a road going through, but the map made it look like there is some sort of land bridge or something here. But we can still go through, it looks like. This feels like a place that has whites with the little bloom we're getting, kind of darker purple. These are orcs. Okay. And a random hunter. So yeah, this is just a place with a lot of orcs, I guess. I don't know why I expected something different. Yeah, so that's off to the west. We explored that a bit last time, and I think that's when I was really feeling like that part, it's just all the rocks were really annoying, just annoying areas to navigate. Looks like I got stuck in a rock almost. But yeah, there were just some areas pretty annoying to navigate around that area north of Gladden Fields, around the Wolf Den area. I don't know how much that will come into play with the questing though, but it seemed like there were quite a few mobs there. So there would be some quests there, would be my guess. I'd kind of expect quests everywhere. The zone's actually, kind of thinking about it, is pretty big, I guess. It's just really tall and narrow feeling. It's nice that they connected something between Misty Mountains of Lothlorien, though. It's like, here's Lothlorien and then Misty Mountains. And having that connection just somewhere other than Moria is pretty nice. Because, yeah, I believe it was just, you had Moria and then, like, Lothlorien and all the way around to Dunlin, and Idoaith would be the old connection outside of Moria. And having something more up north kind of connected to the old Eriador, a lot of the places I like in Eriador, is nice. It would be kind of neat to see, I don't know, Gundabad. I don't know if that would make sense at all connecting to Angmar, but kind of up in this area. They could have something connect to far northeastern Angmar, maybe. If I try to get to that map, it makes it look like Ingmar is a lot more west on this one. I guess Misty Mountains is more over here, so maybe not. And there are just too many mountains, you can't really make a zone out of a giant mountain like that. You can make a zone in a mountain, like Moria. I don't know if there's anything that could go there, but just kind of seeing these connections here, or basically is what I'm getting at, is nice. Okay, so yeah, this is the area I don't mind just traveling along, but would feel kind of annoying to quest in. If we actually go into the more forested part, this area, it's definitely not as bad. It doesn't feel cluttered. It feels kind of open with the big trees and not too many bushes or annoying things going around. So this is one area I don't remember kind of thoroughly exploring. These rocks giving something annoying to have to navigate around though again. This area feels kind of large. It doesn't seem that big on the map, but yeah, it feels pretty big. I believe they have more up here kind of in the denser forest area, which would be area I would not want to go as much. I don't know if this is intended to kind of block you off in a certain way. It looks like you can just get around, kind of annoying to navigate once again. Oddly barren spot right here. They have some more orcs. Little orc camp, it looks like. Little orc camp with a ton of orcs. Difficulty wise, this zone doesn't seem all that bad. I think this character is a lot upgraded compared to what he used to be, so I'm kind of in the mindset that a lot of my characters are way under geared, but I think a few of them are more so up to date. And I say that as I die, but I wasn't trying too hard to not die. I don't care too much about dying like in this compared to the regular servers. Yeah, that is a pretty big orc party. They even had like a, yeah, Death Seer, Defiler. And he'll just resist my stuff. I don't think my finesse, I would think it's higher. No, it's not too high. This character's gear, a lot of his gear is actually from Mordor still. He has some updated jewelry, and his runestone, I think, is updated at least whatever, a couple updates ago. It's that much up to date. What do I do? Shift I? Yeah, so I can get my tactical damage rating up actually to 881. I guess it is a bit outdated. That would be actually a little bit of a big increase. Like over 10% is pretty large. Okay, so this area right here, this is what I would expect the whole zone basically to look like. A lot more like this. And I like this area a lot better than anything else we've seen. Even though it doesn't seem like it should be that hilly, this doesn't really capture the hills that well, so it could be hilly like this. But if the whole zone was more like this, which I think would make sense based on just everything going on here, I think it would be a lot better. Because it makes sense the way it kind of blends in for Mirkwood, but it's just very narrow and it doesn't feel like it should be that narrow. It feels like it should be wider and have more time to blend in and just a lot more of the zone look like this. And if it looked like this, maybe without annoying bushes like this. I think it would be a lot better. Like this area up here just starts to have more bushes, and those things for some reason are just really annoying me right now, I guess. I don't know if they usually annoy me. Like if I was questing through here, I don't know if these random bushes would annoy me as much, but right now they're bothering me for some reason. But if the whole zone was more like this, I would really like it, because I like this area. The hilliness doesn't bother me the way it is with all the grass and just all the stuff blooming. And then even kind of going beyond those to the north and northeast, you see a lot of trees, but they aren't too bad. And it kind of gets more dense with the trees as you go east towards Mirkwood, as it should. But yeah, I would really prefer if the whole zone was more like this with the landscape. And that's kind of what I was thinking would make more sense. I don't really remember seeing this, paying too much attention to this area last time, a week ago. But I really do like this area. They just have random grapevines growing. I don't know who's growing those. I didn't see any NPC or anything. But yeah, I like this area. It could feel really annoying if it was all this. Like if the whole zone just looked like this, I could see that being annoying, because you don't want it to just be one look. But yeah, I definitely prefer the look of this area. And just the feel navigating and going around it. So that's nice to see. Then we have up north here. I think I explored more north here last time. And then if I go back on the map, it's just the mountain stretches right to the river. Right where I am, it basically goes right up to the river. Which again doesn't really make sense. On this bigger map, it looks like there should still be some sort of area between that. That's not a cave. That's just a weird shadow. But it's kind of a weird thing. Looks like there's actually a path up that. I don't know what that's intended to be. Maybe we'll find out questing. But I'll wait to explore that one later. We can see it from here and just know that we can go up it. And there are some paths up there. I'm not sure. I don't remember how far north you could get just walking. Maybe you can get over here, but it doesn't quite look like it. Like it looks like it's blocked off around there at least, and maybe even up there over those rocks. But yeah, this part of the zone feels also pretty big as well. So I think the zone is kind of bigger than it looks. It's deceiving because it's really narrow feeling, and the path's just like really narrow. Your actual walking path between like the trees and the road basically, and the little areas surrounding it are really narrow along those areas in this part of the zone. But once you get up here, it's just like a lot bigger looking and actually feels more like Rohan, like I mentioned. It kind of has that feel to it, being more hilly, but just kind of the bigness, which is a little bit annoying. I'd prefer if these zones were just smaller in scale, more like the Eriador zones. Don't know if they're really that small, they just feel smaller. Like Trollshaws in these zones, they aren't small, but for some reason they always feel smaller to me, like in a good way, I don't mean in a bad way, because I kind of prefer it. But yeah, it could just be me running through this without questing or anything, or having experience with that is why it feels that way. I also don't think a lot of that looks too bad. It's just kind of really annoying to navigate with the rockiness and the trees going around. Less annoying trees than on the east side of the river here, though. But yeah, that is actually about all that I wanted to do for this stream. I know it was kind of short, but my intentions were to do the Virtue System revamp and the Vales of Anduin. So take a little deeper look at this and kind of go about the size of it. I think that's a lot of concern I've seen is the size of it. The narrowness and the kind of clutter is one thing I've had at least. But I think I can get back. I was also hoping I could check out the rewards, but yeah, the Virtue System revamp was the other big thing. And we were able to see that a little bit more fleshed out on kind of what stats they're working towards on a lot of these, which I think will hopefully be good. Looks like you'll have more choice in building something like mitigation if you need more defenses, or if you just want to go glass cannon, you'll actually have some offensive virtues like the main stat ones now. So there's nothing with mastery, but there are ones with main stats, but main stats are really bad right now, and they definitely don't scale fine with high levels. And the recent update 23, not too recent anymore, but that update to the stats and the stat scaling kind of messed up that as well. I have actually visited that. We can go ahead and head to the west here, kind of see what that looks like. I feel like this is a good area to pick on. If they just remove these bushes, it would look so much better. Like if they just deleted all these little green bushes in this area, I'd be much more happy with the zone, or just shrunk their size by about 90 to 95%. The Old Ford. I don't know if that's just the name of this area. Yeah, I don't know why I'm hating on the bushes. For some reason, new bushes in this game have just really bothered me. It's kind of, I think, been since Rohanish, Gondor area. They just always bother me, and there's no way to like disable them in the graphics. I don't think there is. Like, I know they're not frill. Frills actually don't bother me as much as the bushes, and frills can really annoy me. Oh, I cannot do frills all the way up. I would rather have frills off than frills on in the zone even. Yeah, this area isn't too bad just running through it once again. That seems to be a lot of the zone. If I'm just running through it, it's not too bad. Even the bushes don't bother me too much just running through it. So yeah, this just looks like another questing camp. I don't know if there's anything interesting I could check out here. They have a little bit different style houses, or at least a lot less green on the houses. I don't know if that's really different style. They have the same style fences. Makes sense that they look a little bit different. They don't have quite the same trees or just really aesthetics around. But yeah, to get back to the virtue system, we pretty much, I think, checked out everything with that. You can quickly switch them, and kind of, if I unequip those, you can just right click them to get them back real quick, and you can click down here the one you want to earn. And yeah, that's pretty much how that works. So I'm really excited for the virtue system revamp, and hope they extend it to stuff outside of deeds that you can get virtue XP. Even if every mob kill gave you like 1 virtue XP, that would be kind of nice. Or even every quest turn and you could get a couple virtue XP. It would just be really nice to have something other than deeds to help you with that, I think. And I'm interested to see what the stats are like, and excited to actually see how they play out, like on Anor, on those characters on top of these characters, moving forward into update 24 with this zone and future updates like Minas Morgul, which I'm also excited for. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see the zone is not as bad as my first impressions, even though a lot of it looks nice. It seemed to be like a really annoying place to just stay in quest in, so it didn't seem as bad this time through, kind of looking at it more from that perspective. But yeah, I know this was a shorter stream. I might come back later today, I'm actually not sure, but that's kind of why I want to go ahead and get in this morning, to go ahead and do this and check this stuff out again, since I actually had another beta build available. And the last thing is the 64-bit client is definitely... actually testing it, comparing it to the 32-bit client is a lot better. So that was actually nice to see the direct comparison, which I did not do last time. But anyway, I hope you all did enjoy this stream, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more, and thanks for watching and joining, everyone.